r/AskReddit by Redmond ETS. What are some scary secrets to working as a hooker? For me personally, the scary thing is that it's such easy money. It's very easy to spend a few years enjoying the freedom, then realizing you have no official work experience and starting to feel a bit trapped. I dated one long ago. I don't know the details, but I know she was very scared by rich people. Don't know much about her working life, but I remember on rich guy, actually the kid of a very rich guy, constantly sending her weird stuff like him punching and kicking someone attached in his living room. He also asked her for the refund of a very large tip he gave her after his dad cut down his budget. Said he needed the money and sent a screenshot of his bank account being like minus 20 grand. Male hooker here. Women always want to finger my butthole. Why? Edit. It gets raw. Really raw. Fear of violence from clients and some police depending where you live and where you might be working. And there is reason serial kills usually target sex trade workers. It's safer to start an OnlyFans or something. Still have to worry about creeps, but there is a layer of separation. I was never a hooker, but I became popular among them. I was driving for Uber. I'm also from Germany. Sex work does not bother me and I think it should be legal. Anyway, I picked up this Uber passenger and she tells she's a working girl. We are heading to a hotel for her to meet a client, but she wants to know if she gave me $10 would I wait 10 minutes in case she changed her mind. $10 for 10 minutes? Sure. Anyway, for whatever reason the client and her didn't work out. I don't know. I never asked. She came back and we took off. She was really happy with my service. I drove her a few more times. One time she asked me for my number. I ended up driving prostitutes around the state of Georgia. Just me, a fat guy in his Jeep Cherokee, and a bunch of hookers. Actually became a nice side hustle. I was earning good money. Oh yeah, Reddit is going ask. No, I didn't sleep with any of them. Did get smoked out a few times. My nickname was German Teddy Bear. Biggest complaint was you're like so cool, you're that white nerdy guy that everyone thinks don't know crap, but deep under you're a real one. Felt good. Edit. Smoked out means they smoked weed with me, more like they used their weed to smoke with me. It's called smoking out. Tom come over and smoked me out. You were their rent-a-pimp. Female sex worker here. It's a dark line of work. The only good thing about it is the money. The money sometimes is not enough. I believe any sex worker that glamorizes this line of work is either extremely rich or lying to themselves. I always figured that the women who glamorize sex work and flash money on social media and talk up how great it is are trying to recruit others for thigh pimp. You go on TikTok and look up the hashtag 304 and you'll see a lot of women flashing money, talking about how great it is, and so on. It feels like a recruitment ad. What is the significance of 304? Type it in a calculator and turn it upside down. For those too lazy, it spells hoe. Mom was a sex worker in the late 80s, early 90s. She worked for an escort agency, so most of the clients didn't try to mess around with her, as she had a driver security when she was meeting a client. It was the police she was more afraid of. Undercovers would have sex with her, then threaten to arrest her, try to take her somewhere else, try to get info from her about who she worked for, etc. Near the end of her time as a sex worker, her company was being investigated for eco stuff, as it was believed by police that it was connected to a certain family in the area. She had stories about state police FBI showing up to the house asked for her. She also warned her boss about all this, and they were raided a few months after she quit. Obviously she kept her mouth shut since she's alive and well today. I was friends with an escort who would share some of the more messed up stories. Mostly she was scared of getting raped and then also not paid. There was no recourse. She was especially concerned about the local cops doing this. I guess they had a reputation. This was in Minneapolis. You see the absurd number of married men with kids that cheat on their wives, and you lose the faith in dating anyone else after. Edit. Adding one more fact. We are more afraid of cops than clients. They actually can even screw you and arrest you after. When you have kids, it's harder to motivate yourself leave the life than you think. My mom was a prostitute for years and would take me to her clients to wait while she worked. I'd sit in the bathroom with my infant sister and hope she'd hurry. Oh boy, where do I start? Money is a drug. People are lonely. Sex is about power more often than not. Most policemen are willing to get bribed, often with sex. Doctors, lawyers, social workers, teachers, people from all walks of life usually want sex as a favor if they know that they are dealing with a sex worker. Many dudes want to pay for used condoms. A lot of sex workers can get blackmailed by threatening to out them to their families or the public. How many men think that because they're paying you they get to do whatever they want to you? No concept of active consent or boundaries. Ex-sex worker here, as of recently, living in Canada. In my opinion, I'm scared of crossing borders. Being sexually assaulted and or raped is basically guaranteed in this industry unfortunately, as many clients believe they can do whatever they want to since they're paying. And honestly the amount of men leaving crap stains on bedsheets is disturbing too. STDs. I used to date a former escort and one thing she told me was that almost every client she had would try to stealth, take off condoms while they are in the middle of doing the deed. I think that's pretty scary because of STDs, but admittedly tame to some of the other stories I read on here. Not scary, but something interesting my friend told me. He said some of the Japanese escorts come over to the United States to make more money than they could back home, so they can satisfy their addiction and blow it all on rent-a-boyfriend services when they get home. Kind of insane to think about. Escort, female 40s here. Had about 100 bookings judging by my refs and I really wanted to answer this because, quite honestly, I have had zero bad experiences. The guys are overwhelmingly nice, polite and fun. Reading through this thread I think a lot of the answers are people who are not actually escorting but giving an opinion. The closest I have to a scary thing is a guy who spent the whole session slagging off his wife. He didn't do anything bad to me, but I wouldn't meet with him again because look, I know a lot of them are married but if they have got as far as booking me, I do expect them to leave their issues at the door and I certainly don't expect a near constant outpouring of vitriol about their partner. Some answers to those questions you are thinking. I've never been forced to do anything. I've never been offered more money to do something I haven't listed. No one has ever tried to get me to do bareback. I have never caught an STD from escorting. I did once from a guy on Tinder. No one has ever laid a finger on me in violence. I get really scared when I see some of the clients my friends take. I'm convinced some of them are evil. Meanwhile, I've had the same client for a year and the most crazy thing he ever asked was for me to start reading him bedtime stories. He's a good guy. I always feel like one day, some of my friends could be murdered. However, I personally have never had any bad clients. Just been lonely older people. So the sad part is knowing that some people are so lonely that they have to pay me to be there. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more? Have a nice evening. Tell your friends about me.